The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. We're going to start off this week with Mike Falk in the town of Lima, and perhaps a little bit about Livingston County too. Mike, take it away.
Well, Chris, thanks for having us again. This June is National Men's Health Month. And it serves as a reminder for all men to take care of their bodies and minds. According to the CDC, on average, American men die 5 years earlier than women. They also make up a larger percentage of causes of death in the United States, including heart disease, cancer, and unintentional injuries. In honor of Men's Health Month, the Livingston County Department of Health encourages all men to visit their primary care provider for a checkup and to promote healthy habits for young boys. The town of Lima has received letters, two different letters from the Department of Transportation regarding Woodruff Road and Jenks Road. The speed studies were done and the DOT is declining to reduce the speed limit on those two roads. The highway superintendent here, John Sokolowski, is exploring other options. If you are interested in weighing in and would like to talk with him, go ahead and email him at highwaysuper@townoflima.org, or you can give him a call at 585-582-1443. The public hearing on the school resource deputy placement in Lima is June 6th. So if you're seeing this live, you've got a couple of days to decide if you want to come to the public hearing. It's here at the Lima Town Hall at 6 o'clock. What is proposed is a three-way cost share between HFL, LCS, and the town of Lima for 10 months of the year, with Livingston County picking up the other 2 months. But it would place a armed deputy in Lima, primarily at the two schools. And lastly, spending time with your family and friends, talking and enjoying entertainment is good for your health. So come on out to the 88th Annual German Festival, Sunday, June 11th, from 11 to 7. And remember, veterans get in free. And that's all I got, Chris.
All right, thanks, Mike. So, Rick, what's happening in Honeoye Falls?
Well, Chris, it's great to see you and appreciate the opportunity. So we've got a couple things going on that I wanted to bring up. And I know John Moffett will certainly be talking about these things as well, I'm sure, in his article. But I wanted to take a moment. I appreciate those, number one, who took the time to attend and take part in some of the various Memorial Day events this past week. These are always meaningful gatherings, honoring those who served our nation and gave all in service. And we appreciate them and their families, those who lost loved ones, and we support those whose family members who support their members of their families in service. So that was a wonderful holiday weekend, of course. I wanted to also offer some kudos to the town of Mendon and the committee and Post 664 members that have worked so hard to make the splash park and the service members memorial on Semmel Road, that project, a reality. I've heard from a lot of residents who are going to the splash park and enjoying it. And we really look forward to that dedication of the memorial on June 11th. And again, kudos to the town, the committee who worked so hard in Post 664 to raise some of the funds and put this really great project together. And then one more little kudo, of course, this weekend was you know, the Mendon Fire District putting on the Mendon Fire Department Carnival, which so many people look forward to each and every year. We've had a great stretch of weather over the last couple of weeks, almost getting to be a little bit too warm and dry, but we're lucky to have this event within the community. So kudos to the Mendon Fire District. This past week, the County of Monroe Emergency Services team supported a planning meeting at the Honeoye Falls-Lima High School for the POD program. Now, the POD program is also known, it's an acronym for Points of Dispensing. And this was a plan that was developed years ago. It actually was started back in 2007. And the plan was developed that involves all of Monroe County, and then various locations around the county were selected in which residents of the community or communities that this location would be involved with would go to in case medications, vaccinations, etc., had to be dispensed to the masses. For our sector, the residents in the village of Honeoye Falls, the town of Mendon, and the town of Rush, the facility would be the HFL High School. And there's a lot of detail that we could review, really too much for this call. But the town of Mendon, the town of Rush, village of Honeoye Falls, along with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, and all of our EMS agencies are being represented. And this exercise is really an effort to review the current procedure that was planned, again, back in 2007 and a couple years after that. So really well before that last pandemic hit. But to review the current procedure, initially review a tabletop scenario that we'll go through, and then consider a future plan for a walkthrough exercise to support and confirm the process. The points of dispensing plan, again, originally was started due, if many of the readers and those listening will remember, used to, you know, back in 2007 to 2010, we seemed to have these anthrax threats. And there were other threats worldwide, actually. And this was meant to aid municipalities in the event of a need for mass dispensing, if that had to take place. So this whole plan is kind of being revived. And we want to make sure it's a good plan and a plan in place. And we support, or we appreciate the support of the HFL school district. They've been very involved with this. And there'll be a lot more information coming out, but the next step sometime in mid to late June is we'll go through a tabletop exercise and actually have everything laid out. And then we'll talk about it and make sure everything seems good. And then we'll put together probably a walkthrough type project as well. So that was something that took place this week. I also wanted to mention again that the West Main Street project is now completed. The new trees have been planted and it really looks great. We appreciate the positive feedback on the project. And once again, we want to thank our businesses for their support during the process, because it was kind of a messy couple of weeks for sure. And then lastly, as there will be many elections coming up, both locally and nationally, I've been invited along with other legislators to review the new and updated voting machines that are expected to be used. And I don't have, again, a lot of information on these right now, but I'm going to be going to a meeting this week to review the machines, see how they work, and gather some more information on what is supposed to be, you know, the new safety features, if you will, and the new features of the machines and what the improvements are. So I'll be going to that this week, and certainly on these calls, I'll try to have more information, some bullet point information that I can put out to the residents, because I know a lot of people are always interested in the voting machines. That's been a lot of discussion during the past couple of election cycles. So that's really it for me today, Chris. That's kind of what's going on around the community. We have our concert starting here in the village of Honeoye Falls in just another week or so on Tuesday the 13th. We're looking forward to that. Appreciate the support we've had from our local businesses with that as well. And again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to these posts and reading the articles in the Sentinel. And Chris, we appreciate the Sentinel's support of our community. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Rick. Now we're over to Steve Schultz. Henrietta, what's happening there?
So we've had a number of special use permits. One of the noteworthy ones that we recently approved was a microbrewery. Henrietta does not currently have a microbrewery operating in town, so that it's going to be Smug Town Brewing. They're going to be located in Town Center Plaza, which is probably still more commonly known by its old name of Suburban Plaza on East Henrietta Road. So they're now in the site plan process. They have to add some sound barriers because they're not that far away from some homes, so they want to have some outdoor seating. So we're taking a look at that. A couple celebrations going on in town. Interpretech is celebrating their 30th year as a service. If you're not familiar with Interpretech, they provide American Sign Language interpreting services, and for organizations, municipalities, businesses, and the such. So thanks to the partnership of the National Technical Institute of the Deaf with RIT, there is a large deaf population in Henrietta. So there is a large need for interpreting services, and they've been providing that for, like I said, 30 years. So that is tomorrow from noon to 4 at 75 High Power Road. For anybody who wants to, there's a picnic as part of that celebration. And I apologize if I butchered the name, but the Wat Pao Lo Temple, they expanded. It's a temple on Martin Road, located at 135 Martin Road. They added an additional building, and they're going to be doing the dedication. That's June 10th at 2 p.m. And so every summer they've held a festival that's it's really neat. A lot of Southeast Asian food, I'll call it the Himalayan region type cuisine. So it's pretty neat. We've been doing a lot of road work and paving lately. This morning we are repaving County Road Pinnacle. Unfortunately, this morning we actually had an assault on one of our flagmen. Apparently a motorist was too impatient to drive around, and when he was told he couldn't continue, he got out and assaulted our employee. The employee is okay, although we asked him to go to a doctor to confirm that, and we have filed a report with the police, including a potential arrest report. So I really can't say much more of that because it's an ongoing investigation. But unfortunately, it seems like our world is a little bit more violent than it was 5 years ago. So, and then finally, our parkland alienation bill passed both houses at the state legislature. That bill would allow the town to swap 0.9 acres of park access road. There's no actual park that takes place there, but it's the access road to get to the center of the golf course. And because it's part of the same parcel, it's considered parkland. We're swapping that in exchange for 2.6 acres of adjacent land. So right next door to it, this is in the Riverton community. It's one of the last developable parcels. It's called Parcel A, and our access road essentially bisects that parcel, which, as you can imagine, to not be able to put anything across parkland, that makes it very difficult for this developer. Well, we have been partnering with the town of Rush on creating a local waterfront revitalization plan along the Genesee River. So we initiated it at, I don't know what it was now, 3 years ago. We brought Rush in because it's the same river, and we wanted to create a riverwalk trail that goes from the old Kodak facility in the north all the way down to the Black Diamond Trail, the Lehigh Valley Black Diamond Trail down in Rush, just south of Industry. And it will connect the golf course, Breeze Park, the Transportation Museum, the county fairgrounds, the Railroad Museum, all these sites along the way, the Rush Riverside Refuge and 100-acre preserve. It's going to connect all these sites. And what's neat is at the north end, we're doing a connecting trail to the Lehigh Valley North Branch Trail. At the south end, as I mentioned, it's going to connect to the Lehigh Valley Diamond Branch Trail. And in the middle, there will be a cross connect to the Genesee Valley Greenway Trail. So a lot of good interconnectivity to the existing trails, and we look forward to getting started on that. But one of the challenges we had was, how do we get around the golf course? Because the second and third fairways are right up along the river. And so there was really no safe way to bring the hikers past those fairways without putting them in risk of getting hit by flying golf balls and also disrupting anyone playing golf on those holes. So we worked this deal where we swapped that portion of the access road that bisects their property with the 15-foot wide swath to the east side of the golf course. So we'll be able to safely get the hikers around the golf course. So we're excited about that. And the local waterfront revitalization plan, or LWRP, that is currently at review by the Department of State in New York. So it's past one of the initial reviews. So we're hoping to get that in place soon because we want to start implementing some of it. And so excited about that. So that's about it.
All right. Thanks, Steve. I did have a clarification question. You had mentioned an event occurring and you used the word tomorrow. So I didn't know if that...
that's a good point. Saturday, June 3rd.
So it would have already happened by the time you're watching this.
Yeah,
but hey, it was a great time, wasn't it?
I'll let you know next week.
All right, Mike, do you have anything more to add? Nope. All right, well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for watching. Remember, we air this broadcast every Sunday at 1 o'clock, even though we tape it earlier. And it's available on our YouTube channel and Facebook page. Like the page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and when the program airs, those platforms will notify you so that you can watch. That's it for this week. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.